Yo, what is up guys? I'm here hitting you up with a new CZN video. Today I want to show you some very important things you need to know when it comes to your team building and what type of gear you want to use on your characters. When it comes to your memory fragments in this game, there are different ways you can gear your units, but what is truly the best way and how do these effects even trigger? That is, I think, the most common question everybody asks themselves. When are these effects even active and when are they deactivated? For example, the Conqueror's Aspect, which you all know, it increases your crit damage by 35% for all one-cost cards. But what is really a one-cost card? Is a discounted one-cost card still a one-cost card, or is only a current one-cost card a one-cost card? So those are the questions I asked myself, and I came to a conclusion which I will show you. I will cut in some footage I recorded for that. Now I'm gonna demonstrate it based on Casius's quest card with the straight effect, where you need to trigger a 0, a 1 and a 2 mana cost card to activate and trigger his quest to get the straight buff. So I just used a 1 mana card, and I'm using the Lift Anchor, which is a 0 mana card, and you see with 0 and 1 is active, and we only need to use a 2 mana card. Now that we buffed the Anchor Shot to 3 mana, it actually did not trigger the quest because the 2 mana cost card changed to a 3 mana cost card. So only the current value is the real value. Now that you have seen the footage, only current mana dictates the activation of effects. This tells you moving forward on what you want to do in terms of DPS sets. For example, the Conqueror's Aspect set you don't want to use on MaTeIRiA because her basic cards, which are one cost cards, if you pull them out with Unity, they're costing 0 mana and they do not get that crit damage boost, right? So you don't, like, using that set does not even make any sense whatsoever. Same goes for the Line of Justice, which is only effective for cost 2 or more cards. So if you plan to use Haru or any other 2 cost cards, do not make cards cheaper, don't reduce their mana cost, otherwise this set is also not active. Now when it comes to the Spark of Passion set, when using an upgraded card, next 5 cards plus 15%, this is only ever useful if you use that set on Veronica as a sub DPS build, not as a card draw, but only as a sub DPS. Upgraded cards are only the green cards, right? So if we look, for example, at MaTeIRiA here and we look at her cards, the only upgrade card is her Flame Dragon's Jewel. So the only time the Passion set makes sense if you use the card which creates 2 strike cards cost 1. But I'm not sure if you can actually use that card more often. I can't remember because I'm using the move on to basic cards more often than I use the upgrade card. So I don't even know if that comes back to your deck after you used it. To be honest, I can't remember that one. Only with that card, if you have like multiple of the Unity card, then you can use the Passion set on your Mei. Outside of that, not a set you want to use, and that also changes a lot when it comes to her ideal build. Now for example, for MaTeIRiA, her ideal build would be a 2-piece, and that is moving forward with a majority of these DPS units, right? So moving forward, whatever you want to build on, unless you really want a crit chance here, for example, for the Line of Justice, because you have 2 cost cards, having a 2-piece crit damage set together with a 2-piece Blackwing set for extra attack, this is the best damaging combination, where you can get 100% of the time get a damage boost for your characters. And the last one really depends on the character you're using, but for example, a MaTeIRiA, for example, would benefit a lot from crit damage, attack, and then the last set, the Scarab set, because this one 2-piece set increases the damage of basic cards, and then since she's spamming her basic strike cards a lot, right, this is also a damage boost for her. So a 2-2 set with these 3 is the best set for a MaTeIRiA. Now another topic when it comes to builds in general was slot 5, the Desire one. Is it better to go with the main stat, let's say attack percentage, defense percentage, or HP, depending on what your unit is scaling of, or should you go with the elemental one? Now we actually have confirmation. The best way to use slot 5 is going with the elemental damage, because first and foremost, it's a different multiplier that increases your overall damage output no matter what. And secondly, I personally didn't know it because I come from a different game, for example, solo leveling Arise, where it was completely different. I thought that elemental damage increase only works in dungeons where you also have elemental advantage. If you don't have elemental advantage, then it does not really do anything. That was my assumption because I came from that game, but no, it is different. If you go with elemental damage increase, it, no matter what type of dungeon you go in, it just overall increases the damage of your character that does that specific damage. So for example, if you play Kali, for example, and you give her the instinct damage, then increases her overall damage because she does instinct damage with all her cards. That is a overall damage increase for her. So slot 5 is always the elemental damage because that nets you the most damage for your character, and that is also why you can go with a different build for her. If I can find the pieces, I don't even know if I have one, but the set basically that increases your, yeah, this one here, the instinctual growth one. If hand has 4 more cards plus 15% instinct card damage, you could potentially use that on her. Personally, I still wouldn't do that. I would use a justice set with a 2-piece tetra set, which increases her defense, or you could also go with the crit damage set. That would also be a thing. That really is up to you what you want to do. You want to have the crit chance. Slot 5, you want to have the elemental damage, and slot 6 is whatever that unit gets of defense, HP, or attack for your DPS units and bruiser units. Now, last topic also what I want to talk about is the ego recovery in slot 6. How good is it really? Now, the first setup is without the ego recovery in slot 6. Let's see how many cards it actually takes to get the EP to 3 ego skill points. We activated 1 card. We're activating now the second card right now here. Now we're about to use the third card. Here it is still not enough, and once we activate the fourth card, maybe even damage helps as well. There we go. We got to 3 ego skill points, but with an empty 4th slot. Now this is the second footage with plus 34 ego recovery equipped. We start the same thing. We're seeing how many cards it takes to actually get to EP3 right now. 1 card is activated so far. We're activating Power Charge. This is our second card, and you see it's almost full. Now we're activating the third card, a skill card. I think skill cards really don't count as much for EP recovery, but now we're using the attack card, which is the 4th card, and here already we're seeing a difference. So we actually charged a bit of our EP. Now that you have seen the difference between not having ego recovery and ego recovery, which is also not even maxed out yet, moving forward, ego recovery is a really strong effect, and it nets you easily just on average in like 2 turns 1 extra bar. Every support you're gonna play, that slot 6 you always want to have ego recovery on, and I mean overall for support you want to have them on HP. Ego recovery, they don't do any damage anyways, so might as well just increase your health bar, and slot 6 with the ego recovery, so you just regenerate your ego skill points faster. Last but not least, also when it comes to gear farming, once you reach level 50, you can now go all the way up to level 10. You always have to beat the current difficulty. For example, you have to beat level 6, then you unlock level 7, and then level 8, and so on and so forth, up to level 10. And once you reach level 10, also, I think it's starting with level 8, you're getting 3 drops of the legendary stuff. At level 10, it is a higher chance of getting 3 drops all the time. So basically, when it comes to your gear farming, you don't necessarily need to do at this point zero system anymore, because zero system runs take quite some time. And if you don't have that much time, just go in, do your level 10, where you can also specifically aim for the correct pieces if you want to have justice. And so you can farm target justice more often, or something else right at the end of the day, whatever you're trying to do. It's a better targeting system. So once you are at level 50 as well, you want to actually farm level 10 for your gear, and not necessarily zero system. Zero system is just more for if you want to improve the loadouts or decks, or have different decks for your character. Also, for those who are close to level 50, don't do your world boss yet. You will unlock the higher difficulties for the world boss once you reach level 50, and starting with difficulty 7, these legendary shards of condemnation, you don't get 1 drop anymore. You're actually getting 2 drops starting with level 7. I have beaten level 8. I can't do level 9 right now because you only have 3 entries per week. So I will be able to get to level 10 next week when this resets. So you want to push this as much as you can. So if you are close don't do it right now, hold it, and then once you reached it, then do it, right? And then push it, because you just get more, which helps you with your potentials overall. And also, if you're really down bad for credits because you're running out of credits, because it's hella expensive to upgrade anything, you need like roughly 2 million credits or something just to get a character to level 60 and the partner cards and everything and so forth. And also upgrading gear is also expensive. You could potentially, if you want to, could go into the credit or unit farm dungeon and farm it on level 6 difficulty. 60 stamina nets you 100,000 credits, which in my opinion is not too bad, but you can also just always do any of these other ones, because those at level 6 for potential ones give you at level 6, the highest difficulty, give you 33k of these units. So it's 30% of what you get from the unit dungeon, but you also get potentials there as well. So whatever you need the most, go there, but I probably would suggest go with your materials and just farm the credits passively. Well, this sums up everything I wanted to share with you. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. I really appreciate it. And see you with the next one. Deuces.